LSU handles Mississippi State at home. Got off to a slow start, but things picked up. That and more on the other side of the intro. Welcome to this episode of Tiger Talk. I'm your host, John.
And I'm Josh.
All right, I think you know the drill. 30 seconds or more.
All right, so LSU, they started off really shaky against Mississippi State, but they showed why they're one of the top teams in the country. Joe Burrow, another great game, and LSU really showing that they are a dangerous second half team.
That was definitely under 30 seconds. Okay. So, let's talk LSU's offense. That's always my favorite.
Yes, that's actually everybody's favorite this season.
Okay, like I said, the offense got off to a very uncharacteristically slow start, but still, Joe Burrow, another four touchdown passing game, 300 plus yards. Rushing was a little bit, rush game was a little bit more, a little bit more left to be desired, but Mississippi State, not a bad defense, and they did eventually pick it up. But, Joe Burrow's passing game.
Once again, masterful performance. Joe Burrow, after this game, he is now the front runner for the Heisman Trophy, and everybody's saying Joe Burrow is the guy to beat for the Heisman. Of course, guys like Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa are in the race, but Joe Burrow has been absolutely remarkable this season, especially after LSU hired Joe Brady in the offseason.
So, the Tigers, the receivers were held under 100 yards. We didn't have a receiver to go over 100 yards for the first time this year. That feels just strange saying that's a season first.
I know it feels strange, but it actually kind of shows how evenly Joe Burrow is able to distribute the ball. I mean, Terrace Marshall is out, so seeing guys like Derek Dillon step up, and Racey McMath, and also Thaddeus Moss has actually stepped up over the past couple weeks as well. I've actually been very impressed with his production. Thaddeus Moss, he's actually really coming along. So though there's still a couple of things that LSU may need to tweak up, LSU has been finding ways to be able to move the ball down the field. Joe Burrow has been finding ways to distribute the ball to his offense. So LSU offense is still clanging and banging out there on the field. And, I mean, they were held to their season low of 36 points. Let's just say 36 was their season lowest. Think about that for a second.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. The running game was a little bit. John Emery still has yet to really find much of a step in this offense. What do you think about that?
To be honest, I really thought that he would have a much bigger part in the offense, considering he was one of the top running backs in the nation last year. And, I mean, LSU flipped him from Georgia. I mean, I really thought that this was a guy that LSU had a lot of high hopes on, that, LSU would really incorporate into the offense. But, I mean, I really don't know what's going on in the locker room. I don't know what's going on in the film room. But Tyrion Davis-Price has really picked up in the offense.
And like you said, Joe Burrow is the Heisman front runner right now. Tigers have a very consistent passing game. That just hasn't happened in quite some time.
It's weird saying it. Like, LSU has a consistent passing game. Wow. But that just, if you would have said that in the past few years, somebody would tell you put soap in your mouth. But okay. That was just so abrupt.
Well, that's the time on that subject. So I guess we move on to talk about LSU's defensive performance. So the defense for LSU has been off and on at times, and this was one of those times that they were on. They really kept the Bulldogs out of the end zone. The Bulldogs did have some success moving the ball down the field, but like I just said, they were kept out of the end zone. Talk that.
Defense kind of started off shaky. I mean, in the beginning of the game, Mississippi State was moving the ball up and down the field, especially having a dual threat quarterback like Garrett Schrader. But the defense has really found its footing. Derek Stingley is starting to emerge as one of the top DBs in the nation. As only as a true freshman, I mean, he's leading the team in most interceptions. And it seems that the defense is starting to build their confidence. But something that I've noticed about the defense is second half defense. I mean, you look at Georgia Southern. They gave up 0 to Georgia Southern in the second half. They gave up 0 points to NSU in the second half. Second half, they only gave up 7 to Florida. They only gave up, 6 to Mississippi State. They gave up 0 to Utah State. So the second half is where the defense usually thrives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also, yeah, but in the games against, like more to your point, in games against Florida, they bent a lot, but then the defense came up with interceptions like in the end zone by Derek Stingley. That was the late fourth quarter, I want to say. Let's see, who was... So Jacoby Stevens and Kristen Fulton had interceptions. They had 2 sacks. That is something that I have yet to see this LSU defense really do, is get after the quarterback like they have in the past when they've had some of their more, I guess you could say, iconic pass rushers.
I mean, we can go iconic like guys like Marcus Spears. But that's something that, like, of course, LSU's had a hard time with it, and when they get ready for Auburn, that's something they're going to really have to do to Bo Nix. Bo Nix is a true freshman, and he's actually about to step into hostile territory, true hostile territory for one of the first times in his college football career. And if LSU wants any chance of containing him, they have to get pressure on him. LSU has a very talented front seven. I mean, you got guys like Rashard Lawrence. You got Shelvin on the defensive line. You also got Calevon Chasson. Having guys like that in the front seven, LSU should have no problem being able to rush the passer, but apparently it's been a downfall.
Well, yeah, I kind of would like to see a little bit of the... a little bit more production out of the front seven, but we still got in a game between now and Alabama. So, okay. So we talked the offense, we talked the defense. I guess now you brought up Auburn, so let's talk LSU versus Auburn. So Auburn Tigers are coming to Tiger Stadium, and unless they tie, I have to say my thought is Tigers win this weekend.
Oh, I mean, of course, that's an amazing observation, Sherlock Holmes. You should be a detective for NYPD.
Okay, so like you said, Bo Nix, true freshman, he has struggled at times and he has shined at times. Which one do you think is going to show up to Tiger Stadium?
It all depends on how much pressure the front seven puts on him. If he's easily rattled by noise, he's going to struggle. Being in Death Valley, you're in front of 100,000 fans. I mean, and it's hostile.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, knowing Gus Malzahn, I'm pretty sure Gus Malzahn is going to do everything he can to prepare his true freshman quarterback. But I think the noise itself is going to rattle Bo Nix. I mean, don't be surprised if Auburn gets some shots in, but I really feel that LSU is going to wear them down as the game goes on.
Yeah. There's been some really classic games between Auburn and LSU. They were talking about some of them, of course. You know, like the night the barn burned.
The earthquake game.
Yeah, the earthquake game. Yeah, the game 07 where they had the...
And Matt Flynn threw a touchdown to Demetrius Bird with 1 second left.
1 second left. 1 or 2 seconds left. Part of me is really excited for this game as always, because you never know who's gonna show up to play, what type of game it's gonna be. Is it gonna be a shootout? Is it gonna be balanced? Is it gonna be like the game in 13? I want to say they went and just they missed 5. Which year was where each kicker missed 5 extra points or something like that?
Oh, I don't remember. I mean, first off, you shouldn't be missing extra points, first off. But I really think it's going to be a shootout. I mean, Auburn's offense has gained a lot of confidence. Bo Nix did struggle in week 1 against Oregon, but he has come along very well, and he's much more comfortable and much more settled into Malzahn's offense. I mean, knowing Gus Malzahn's an offensive technician. I mean, you saw what he did with Cam Newton back when Malzahn was the offensive coordinator under Gene Chizik. And have LSU having Joe Brady basically turning LSU offense a complete 180. I mean, if you ask me, this would most likely be a shootout. Right on time.
All right, let's go to what is clearly becoming one of my favorite segments. Before we go into their upcoming games and take a look at their opponents in the next 4 or 5 weeks, I like this segment, part of our show, the Burrow Breakdown.
Yeah.
So, Joe Burrow's current pace is he's still on the pace. His yards have dropped. His touchdowns are about the same, but he's still hitting around 79-80% completion percentage. He threw for 333 yards and 4 touchdowns, which gives him 29 on the season. And that officially gives him the single season record for touchdown passes that he had previously shared with Matt Mock and Jamarcus Russell. And I want to say, I don't know if Mettenberger did that or not.
I'm not sure.
But Joe Burrow is officially the record holder for single season and single game touchdown passes.
I just want to let y'all know when Burrow got pantsed, again during the Mississippi State game, that was him exposing his butt cheeks on everybody who doubted him. He exposed his butt cheeks on all the experts, all the critics, all the analysts, and saying that I am the man, I'm the quarterback, I'm the next big thing. That I'm just gonna put that out there. But Joe Burrow has been absolutely amazing for this Tigers offense, and this guy's probably gonna be going first round in the NFL draft. He's poised, he's comfortable, and we could tell that he has definitely improved his decision making on the field, and he's definitely taking care of the ball. And that's one thing I'm very impressed with about the LSU Tigers, on how the offense doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah, they don't turn the ball over often. They do put it on the ground every now and then, and Burrow has thrown, I want to say, what was that, 7 interceptions?
No, he's thrown like 3, I believe. He threw one against Northwestern, he threw one against Utah State, and he threw one against Texas. But other than that, he's only thrown 3 picks this season. We're 7 games in. So, I mean, Joe Burrow has done a great job not only managing the game, but also just moving the Tigers up and down the field. I mean, and we've seen LSU move up and down the field methodically, and we've seen them just do it in 1 or 2 plays in a snap of a finger.
So, 7 games in, and which puts us 5 games left in the regular season. I like counting regular season stats only. I know they do take in consideration championship weekends,
right?
So Joe, like I said, he's now single season record holder for in-game in single season. I don't see him catching Hodson for career touchdown passes. I don't see him. Well, there's no way he's going to catch Hodson for career passing yards. But he's still on pace to be LSU's very first 4,000-yard passer, which would obviously give him the single season passing record for yards in the season. But he could also potentially get the single game passing record currently held by Rohan Davey, and that was 528 yards passing. So,
while we're on Joe Burrow and the LSU Tigers, I just also want to say that this is a golden opportunity for LSU. I mean, this is their 3rd top 10 matchup of the season, and I mean, Alabama has yet to have a top 10 game. You have like Clemson, they have yet to have a top 10 game. LSU, this is going to be their 3rd top 10 matchup. So their resume is looking pretty good, and it's going to look a lot better if they beat Auburn this Saturday. And so this is really another chance for Joe Burrow to show why he's in the consideration for the Heisman. Right on time again. I'm getting better with these time people. I'm getting a lot better.
Okay. That just brings us to our final segment where we take a look at the upcoming schedule. Like we said, we've been talking about them playing Auburn this weekend. They have a bye week, and then that brings up the annual matchup against Alabama. Then that will be followed by Ole Miss here at Tiger Stadium, and the season final again at home against Texas A&M.
You forgot Arkansas.
I did forget Arkansas.
That's the golden boot, man.
Arkansas is so forgettable this year, though.
I know. Like, how you lose at home to San Jose State?
Arkansas has just been terrible.
Just absolutely just, like, ew. Like, you can't sit with us, Arkansas.
What happened to the Razorbacks?
Well, life.
Okay, let's put it in this perspective. What was the last time Arkansas was consistently relevant?
I think it was when they had Bobby Petrino as head
Bobby
coach.
Petrino was their head coach.
They also had Houston Nutt. Houston Nutt kind of kept them in relevance for a while, but it was when they got Brett Bielema to be their head coach was when everything just started going downhill. Well, I want to say it was towards the end of Petrino's time as a head coach because he had gotten some scandals and whatnot. And
yeah, and then he got fired, and it was interim coach Luke Walton or something like that.
I don't know. And then Brett Bielema, and then it just started going downhill. And now they got this guy from SMU, and I guess he's now realizing I don't have what it takes to coach in the SEC, coming from the American Conference. Yeah, and they thought bringing back like the old uniforms would do some type of good. No, it does not. Just saying, it's not the same. You don't have Peyton Hillis. You don't have Darren McFadden anymore. You don't have Felix Jones anymore. Get out of those days, Arkansas. Please. You're embarrassing the SEC. Like, even Vandy was able to get a big win this weekend against Mizzou. And Vandy has been doing terrible this year.
Yeah.
And you mean to tell me y'all want to lose to freaking San Jose State? Y'all need to redeem yourselves. Vandy did. They lost big at home to UNLV. And how they redeemed themselves? They knocked off a ranked opponent. You put Arkansas against a ranked opponent, they're just going to... I'm not going to even say it because, you know, family friend of the show. That's a little bit of my rant. Yeah. Arkansas, get it together.
Yeah. Neither Mississippi team is particularly awe-striking this year.
Texas A&M has taken some steps back.
Texas A&M is the biggest surprise this year for me. Did not see them taking that big of a step back.
Like, basically, after the Alabama game, it's going to be smooth sledding for LSU until Atlanta. If they beat Alabama. If LSU beats Alabama, then they pretty much secured a spot in Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah. I wouldn't. Take anybody napping. That's for sure.
Oh no! I mean, LSU has to take every game serious. I mean, every game is another day in the office. When you're in the office, you got to take your job seriously. So.
Well, that about wraps up this episode of Tiger Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you next week. I'm John.
I'm Josh. And Bo Nix, if you're watching this, may God have mercy on you when you step in Death Valley Saturday.